Okay, I'm going to call tonight's meeting to order. This is Monday, February 23rd, and we have a full agenda, but we have two wonderful spotlights to start our evening here. And the first spotlight is some of our student performers from the high school musical gala Ragtime. That is this weekend, I believe, the performances. And Superintendent Metz, do we have any other introduction? We should introduce our musical accompaniment.
Well, let's let them go ahead and jump in. They're going to perform two songs for us, and then we'll award them with a special certificate.
They seem well when he is old enough. I will show him America, and he will ride on the wheels of a Sarah, and plenty of men who will stand up and give us our due. Oh, Sarah, it's more than promises. Sarah, it must be true. A country that lets a man like me own a car, raise a child, build a life with you. Beyond that road, beyond this lifetime, that car full of hope will always gleam with the promise of happiness and the freedom he'll live to know. He'll travel with head held high, just as far as his eye can go. And he will ride, our son will ride on the wheels of a
Look, down at the beach, the children.
Not too fast. Oh, she does not hear me. No, she hears me, but she does not listen.
All children are like that.
What is their hurry?
I'm very glad ours have become such friends. How they play, finding treasure in the sand. They're forever hand in hand, our children.
How they laugh. She has never laughed like this.
Every waking moment bliss,
Our children, see them running down the beach. Children run so fast
toward the future.
from the past.
How they dance, unembarrassed and alone, hearing music of their own. Our children,
One so fair,
and the other light and dark, solemn joy and sudden towards the future
from the
past. There they stand, finding treasure in the sand. They're forever hand in hand,
our children, two small lives, silhouetted by the blue, one like me and one like you. Our children.
That was absolutely wonderful. Why don't we have each of you come up here, introduce yourself, tell us what year you are in school, and the name of your character.
Okay, I'm Carly Donald, and I'm a senior, and my character's name is Mother.
Got that much.
Hi, I'm Daniel Vladiver. I'm also a senior, and my character is Tate.
Hi, I'm Karis Chihamba, and I'm also a senior, and my character's name is Sarah.
My name's Jesse Ziesel. I'm also a senior, and my character's name is Colehouse Walker Jr.
And your accompanist tonight, Tim Rauch, am I pronouncing your last name? And he's helped us, I don't know how many, you may know how many musical performances. Lost count. Probably at least a decade for now and more. So thank you to you. The performances are this weekend?
Starting Thursday.
Starting Thursday. So Thursday the somebody help me with the dates, 6th?
Yep.
One of you knows. Tell us when our performances are.
The performances are Thursday the 26th, Friday the 27th, Saturday the 28th, and March the 1st.
And so the
Sunday.
Sunday one, is that a matinee?
Yeah, at 2 o'clock.
And the rest are evening?
At 7.
Wonderful. Well, we have a certificate to share with
Thank
your
you.
colleagues downstairs. I assume you've got a large group. How many
Yes.
people are in the cast?
Well, it's all the choirs.
All right.
So,
It's fairly large.
yeah.
So if you know anybody who sings at the high school, they're probably in this, come to one of the performances. And thank you
Thank you.
very much.
Thank
This was
you.
wonderful.
Thank you.
I look forward to seeing it.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll let you go back.
If I may, I'd just like to add one thing for when Mr. Rauch leaves, formerly Pastor Rauch, he launched a new career. He's been doing musicals for St. Louis Park, playing the piano, and he gets paid the big bucks for that. But Tim has been a wonderful, wonderful addition to all of our musicals. Was it 15 years, Tim?
Started in 1996.
Okay. Wow. Amazing. 18 years. Well done. Thank you so much. And for full disclosure, he teaches piano, and he says I'm his star student.
And for our second spotlight, I will turn to Superintendent Metz.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight I'd like to welcome Krista Getchell, President of the Park Nicollet Foundation. Krista, would you mind making your way up to the microphone and I'll introduce you. Krista and Park Nicollet Foundation have a long history with us as our community partners. The Park Nicollet Foundation is a great supporter of the St. Louis Park Schools, its student and staff, and I want to underline great. The foundation provides regular support in the form of grants to school programs as well as ongoing support in crisis situations, of which we've had quite a few lately. The Growing Through Grief program especially has been a lifesaver for our schools and our students. Tonight we are here to acknowledge Park Nicollet Foundation for their support of Aquila Elementary School and Park Spanish Immersion School in the Yum Power program. Both Aquila and PSI participated in the program this fall, and our students excelled, with most increasing their daily intake of eating healthy fruits and vegetables. Tonight, Krista is here to honor both Aquila and PSI and say a few words about the foundation. So, Krista, thank you for being here.
Well, it's my honor. Our mission and vision at Park Nicollet Foundation is to partner to build healthy lives. And don't tell anyone, but I really think the preferred partner is St. Louis Park School District. I can't tell you what wonderful opportunities that we've had to share with you and programs, and it's just really fun to have a partner that believes in also what you're doing. We have 6 initiatives that we are called to be a part of in our grant making: mental health, community connectivity, community resources, well-being, obesity, and there's this and access and affordability. And that's just really, really, really important to us. And we're just proud to be partners in the community clinic, Central Clinic, with the healthcare right on site for young people. And then also Superintendent Metz recognized Growing Through Grief, which is just an incredible program. And it's in 12 other school districts. And one of the most prominent up-and-coming new programs that we're a part of that you've partnered with us so well is at the St. Louis Park Middle School, called NOW, No Obstacles to Well-Being. And I don't know if you've heard about it. Just go like, okay. Just really quick, it is telemental health for the junior high middle school student, where the young person doesn't have to leave school, so you're keeping kids in school. The parent or guardian doesn't have to leave their work or fight transportation obstacles. But young people receive high quality psychiatric care therapy for those needs that just seem to be lost through the shuffle. And they do it by teleprompter. So just think of your iPad times 5. That is what's at Park Nicollet, and then at St. Louis Park Middle School is the counterpart of that, and they talk to each other via screens, which is so cool. And all the adults were going, I just don't know how that's going to work. And the kids are going, I'm ready, let's do this. And we're just so happy to be a part of that. And because of the success of this program at the St. Louis Park Middle School, we'll be doing this at Richfield next year. So we're super excited. And you know what? It's because of the partnership of you and your willingness to take a risk. And I think it's a risk well taken because we're benefiting young people. So it's my honor to be here, and I have 2 checks to share. And one is for Park Spanish Immersion, so I believe that's Corey, and then Aquila. And Yum Power is a wellness obesity type program where it's sponsored by Health Partners, where you do healthy eating and activity at the same time. And so for every participant who completes their activity, there's equates monetary dollars. And I just didn't think it was enough. So Park Nicollet matched those dollars too. So now you can have more equipment. And thank you, Superintendent Metz.
Thank you. We appreciate this.
You're welcome.
Certificate for you. Park Nicollet has been a great partner for many years, and we're glad to see that continue and to have 2 of our schools particularly involved. But we appreciate all of the connections in all of the ways Park Nicollet remains a partner with us as we share our support for the youth in our community. So thank you. I'm now going to move on to the agenda, and I'll go through that first. The agenda includes a call to order, the approval of the agenda, open forum opportunity, superintendent's report, then several discussion items, and they include the dates of the school board listening sessions, a college possible update, the Aquila Elementary School report, then we'll have the superintendent's budget assumptions, the quarterly budget report, the consent agenda, and on our action agenda, the only thing is approval of the 2015-16 budget assumptions, so followed by communications and transmittals, and eventually an adjournment. There are no changes to that agenda, so is there a motion for approval of the agenda as I've read it?
So moved.
Motion by Ken, second by Bruce. All in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? And the agenda is approved 6-0. Our first item is the open forum, and I don't have any slips, so I don't think we have anybody here for open forum. I can identify everybody with a presentation still to come. Moving on, we'll go to the superintendent's report.
Thank you. I have 2 items to report on tonight. First of all, February 27th will mark the 1-year anniversary since the death of middle school student Abdullahi Sharif. Tonight I wanted to share with you that the district and the middle school are planning a series of internal supports and reflections, predominantly in private, school day activities, to acknowledge the 1-year anniversary. Some events include staff and student support and ongoing counseling sessions, middle school site council support of the middle school staff, and a special oral time lesson for the middle school students. In speaking with the Sharif family, they have requested that all of our remembrances take place privately, and that is what we are doing. So we just wanted to take a moment tonight to acknowledge Abdullahi and the 1-year anniversary. Secondly, I want to speak to the strategic plan. The strategic plan is about to begin our next 5-year plan. In fact, tomorrow, Tuesday, February 24th, is a big day because it's our World Cafes. The World Cafes are an opportunity for the community as a whole and our staff and students to come together to help give us direction for our next 5 years. We have 3 World Cafes planned for tomorrow, 7:30 a.m. if you're an early riser or you want to come in before work, 4 p.m., and 7 p.m. All 3 World Cafes will take place in the high school gym. And we're looking forward to tomorrow. It'll be a great kickoff to our strategic planning process. I want to especially thank Sarah Thompson, our Director of Communications, who's done a great job, a lot of work and a lot of good work preparing not just for the World Cafes, but for this entire process. Our facilitator tomorrow and throughout this entire process will be Susan Hintz, and we're looking forward to having her lead the way. So looking forward to tomorrow, the first big day and a big kickoff to our next 5-year strategic plan.
Thank you. Our first discussion item is a mention of the school board listening sessions, and I gave the dates at our last board meeting in the communications and transmittals, but we wanted them part of the formal agenda. The first one is this Wednesday, and I'm saying that on Monday the 23rd, so it's Wednesday the 25th from 6:30 to 8 at the Peter Hobart Media Center. I already know of one, and I think 2 people that are going to be, well, you and I are going to be there, but we're going to have 1 or 2 people coming to talk with us, so others are certainly welcome to join us. And the next one will be a ways away, but it'll come quickly, Saturday, April 11th from 10 to 11:30 a.m. At the St. Louis Park Public Library. We do try and hold them in a variety of locations, not just our schools, trying to connect with people in different spots, and so that was a great suggestion to to meet at the public library. If after 30 minutes there are no attendings, the listening session will end, but as I say, I know there's going to be one or two there Wednesday, so that probably shouldn't be an issue. Please come. That's just a chance to talk more informally where we can not be in the lights and behind a barrier here and have a conversation about whatever anybody wants to bring to us. So with that, I'll move on to our next topic, which is the College Possible update. An update from our College Possible team on this year's students' participation. And Superintendent Metz, are you going to introduce that?
I am. I have the pleasure of introducing Sarah Juke. And Sarah, you may go up to the microphone. Sarah is the Executive Director of College Possible. She stopped by not too long ago to visit with me and give me an update on the program here in St. Louis Park. And I asked her if she would take 10 minutes or so to explain what College Possible is and give us an update on how our students are doing. I introduced College Possible by saying it's one of the best things that ever has happened to St. Louis Park High School. It's a fabulous success here and very meaningful and beneficial to our students. So with that, Sarah, I will let you take it away.
Thank you, Superintendent Metz. Thank you all. It's a pleasure to be here this evening and to have the opportunity to tell you a little bit more about the successful partnership that College Possible and the St. Louis Park School District have. Joining me this evening is Lisa Beckham. She is a program coordinator at College Possible, and one of the schools that she oversees is St. Louis Park High School. And so I asked her to be here to join us this evening as we tell you a little bit more about the partnership that we have with the high school. So College Possible is a nonprofit organization focused on working with low-income students, helping them earn college admission and success. We've been in the St. Louis Park High School since 2007 with great success with our partnership. So Lisa will be passing around some information that we'll be talking about tonight. When we work with low-income high school students, we recruit high school sophomores to join our program. A sophomore needs to be income eligible and GPA eligible. So we're looking for students that qualify for free or reduced price lunch or are within 200% of the poverty line, and students that have a GPA of 2.0 or greater. We're also looking for students that have a desire to go on to college, preferably a four-year institution, and are willing to make a pretty significant time commitment to a program like ours. Students meet with us after school 160 hours a year, their junior year and senior year of high school. So we're recruiting sophomores. We're actually starting the recruitment process right now for a group of sophomores, a cohort of 40 students that we would then pair with a coach. They'll join us after school in our intensive after-school program next year as juniors, working with their coach to increase their ACT scores, to attend campus visits, and to start to think about their top 5 list for college. We'll do some summer enrichment offerings for students in the summertime to make sure that they continue to have opportunities to learn and grow through other organizations over the course of the summer. And then we support that same cohort of students when they're high school seniors. They again have a coach, oftentimes the very same coach, that will work with them to apply to a variety of institutions to secure the financial aid that would be necessary for them to go, either by completing their FAFSA or by securing private scholarships. By making those decisions once their admissions start to come in, and then helping those students transition from high school to college. We do some summer bridge work after senior year of high school to make sure that a student is ready to set foot on a college campus in the fall. We also support our students all the way through college graduation. So once they leave St. Louis Park High School, they're still a College Possible student until they graduate from college. That may take 4 years, it may take 6 years. As long as it takes, we will continue to coach them and support them on their campuses and via technology to make sure that they're persisting in graduating. Our program has unmatched results. Our students, historically, 98% of them have earned admission to college, and a College Possible student is 10 times more likely than their low-income peers to graduate from college. You'll see in your packet on the left-hand side of the packet is a program profile that gives you just a little bit more information about our program here in the Twin Cities. We're in 23 high schools. Our average household income of our students is $25,000, and 92% of our students are students of color. Our average GPA is a 3.0. You can see some additional information in that program profile about the results that we achieve with our students and the demographic breakdown of our students. On the right-hand side of your packet, you'll see a report that we prepared specifically for you, for Superintendent Metz, and for your district to review the results that we've had at St. Louis Park High School. We're currently working with 77 students, juniors and seniors in the high school. Our average admission, since we started in 2007, 98% of our students at St. Louis Park High School have earned admission to college, and they've increased their ACT scores by 25%. You'll also see in this packet a picture of Shakita, who was a coach a couple years ago here, and her student Kevin, who is now a sophomore at Lawrence University and doing extremely well. On the second page of the report, you'll see that there is no cost to the school district for this partnership. We are a completely free program for our students and for our school partners. We raise all of our dollars privately in this community to be able to offer our program each year. Since we've been in the district, we've worked with 276 St. Louis Park High School students, and we currently have 2 College Possible students working in the high school. Katie is our junior coach, and Will is our senior coach. And Will is a second-year member with us, so he was the same coach for those students their junior year as well. On the third page, I'd like to highlight some of the high school program results that we've seen at St. Louis Park High School since we started. Our historic average ACT increase is just over 25%. You'll see the last couple of years we've exceeded that number pretty significantly. Last year we had almost a 33% increase in test scores of students. And this year we have taken 3 tests already, and students have seen almost a 20% increase in their scores. Our benchmark for this point is an 11% increase, so they are doing well above that benchmark that we would like to see for our students. And you'll see every class since we've been in the high school, and the number of students that we've served in that class, their college admission, their 4-year admission, and the private scholarships that have been secured by those students. So this year we have 39 students in our senior group, and to date, here in February, 67% of them have earned admission to college, and 67% have earned admission to a 4-year institution. Our historic average is 98% earning admission. This past fall, 89.1% of the class of 2014 enrolled in college. Our average as an organization was 87%, which is well above the average for a low-income student. And so we saw our students from St. Louis Park do slightly higher than that. And we also are working with sophomores in the high school to deliver college prep talks. And that's when seniors that are in our program go in and talk to underclassmen about the experience and about college going and some things and tips that they can start to think about now for heading to college. And so last year we reached 300 sophomores through those college prep talks. We've just been thrilled with the partnership that we've had. We've been so honored to be considered your partner in this work and to work with the students at your high school. And so we wanted to be able to come tonight and share some of these great results with you and to be able to take any questions that you might have about the partnership. Lisa knows the ins and outs of who we're working with at the high school and how things are going, and so we would certainly be happy to take any questions that you may have.
Fantastic. We're very happy to be a partner too. Questions from board members? Sounds like we need to grill Lisa. So, Bruce.
Maybe it was here and I just missed it. What is the graduation rate? We've had kids in the program since 2007, so 2009 was our first graduating class. Do you know what the college graduation rate is among the students?
So I did bring that information with us. So our first group of graduates was 2009. So to date, we've had 20 students that have earned their degrees, which is, we're really excited about that because those first couple of classes were smaller. Our average size, we like to be at around 40, but when we get started in a school, oftentimes we start with a lower number than that while we sort of build up our steam. And so those early classes we had in the mid to high 20s, and so we've already got 20 graduates, and we have more than 160 students that are currently persisting. And so right now, our graduation rates for those students, our persistence rates are just over 60%, where we would like to be higher than the average graduation rate for a low-income student, which is 11%. We as an organization are on par with the national graduation rate for students of all income levels. And that national graduation rate is 57%. And so that's where we, for the last few years, have been able to be with our students, is closing that gap from an 11% low-income student graduation rate to a 57%, which is the national average. And we continue to aim even higher than that with our students.
I just want to thank you. I can only echo Julie's words. It's a fabulous program, and it's part of St. Louis Park, has been for a long time, and I just think it's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Other questions? Nancy?
I just wanted to ask if you have any need for any volunteers, and if you do, what would be the time, date, and way to get access to talk with you more about that?
It's a tough question. No, I think mostly where we could use the most help would be in recruitment, as we are trying to get a solid cohort of 40 students. Will and Katie are both working hard at trying to figure out, the type of support they can get in the school to make sure we have a strong application list so we can choose the students. So I think Katie and Will are found in the learning lab, and connecting with them and finding out the best time to meet with them to be able to provide applications for students that would fit this program well would be where we could use the most help. And I think that would be the way that we'd be able to use the most help, is just getting the best solid cohort we can to continue to help our students reach these dreams.
I would also add that we did just create a new mentoring program with our college students called the Opportunity Guides Network. And so that could be another opportunity. It may not be a student that's currently in St. Louis Park High School, but it may be a student that 3 years ago was at St. Louis Park High School and is now thinking about what might be next for them after college. And so we have our college students, especially third and fourth year students, that are signing up for this mentoring opportunity. It's meant to be a brief 6-week engagement between a mentor and that student around a specific issue that is of interest to the mentor and of need of the mentee. It may be resume review, informational interviews, connecting on the degree that you earned, that student is also persisting in that degree, that we can make really a special match between a mentor and a mentee to help those students have just another resource of support for them. And so that would be another opportunity if you'd be looking to work with perhaps a student that was in St. Louis Park 3 years ago and is now on their path to graduation. We would be able to pair mentors and mentees that way as well.
Thank you.
Oh, sure.
Also like to mention, when you brought up volunteers, Karen Atkinson, who is the director of our Children First initiative in St. Louis Park, organizes a monthly session with College Possible students and community mentors. Many of them, but not all, come from different Rotary groups across St. Louis Park. Some are just people that want to help, and once a month they meet in this room after school and cover a variety of topics: how to write a resume, how to interview. The first one this year was how to answer the phone, how to make a phone call, how to shake hands. We had a 30-minute lesson on how to shake hands. So we want to thank Karen and her good work, Karen Atkinson and her good work, and the Rotary Clubs in St. Louis Park for that effort.
Any other questions from board members? Did you? Sure, go ahead, Kai.
Okay, I had one question, and that was, it's a great program, sounds great. I was wondering, is there a program similar to this for kids that, or families that aren't in the lower income or free and reduced area? Do you guys run a program like that?
We do not. Our only program is for the low-income students, and that is because that's where we've seen the greatest gap for students that are earning admission to college and then persisting in graduating. And so where we feel that we can do the greatest good for our community is working with that low-income population in the high school with the juniors and seniors.
I think the alternative program is called counselors, and the reason we need programs, or part of the reason we need programs like College Possible, is that there are so many demands on our counselors that they can't give everybody as much attention as perhaps would be valued. And so we certainly have that kind of program, that kind of support, but nothing nearly as intensive as the kind of work that College Possible does. So, Nancy.
Yeah, I also think, Robin, aren't I right that we've built into some of the curriculum some structure to help all students that would certainly help the College Possible students, but also all students in terms of explaining how the process works? Because more and more kids are coming to us that don't necessarily have that access at home. And sometimes the access they have at home is so old that it really doesn't keep up with the pace of colleges today.
We do, and Julie may want to add to this, but we have a selection of courses at the high school, which we call Academy Pathway courses, which have embedded in them lots of college access information and college career information embedded right in the courses. And then we also have advisory classes for all of our students that meet monthly, and they cover topics similar to what College Possible would cover. I agree with Julie that the amount of time is not as much, and so this is a greater intensity and more targeted. But yes, all of our students from 9th grade on have a monthly college career advisory lesson.
And I think part of that was we saw how wonderful your program was and how useful it was, and thought we can't duplicate it, but we can help a little bit.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you both very much for coming tonight and for all you do and your colleagues do, both here at the school and for every other school that you work with.
Thank you so much.
Thank
we really
you.
value the partnership.
We appreciate
Thank you.
it. The next item on our agenda is the Aquila Elementary School Annual Report, and we have Clarence Pollack, the principal, and Olivia Tolzing is here to help present. Board members, it would help if we hold our questions to the end so that they can get through all of the explanations, and then we can ask any questions that we have pending at that time. And while they're trying to get the connection, I'll insert my communication and transmittal, which is to say that I know our food service, there's a school nutrition advisory committee, and they're looking for volunteers particularly from the middle school in Peter Hobart, who would be interested in participating in that group. But you got it connected fast, so great. We'll turn it over to Mr. Pollack.
Good evening, school board members, Superintendent Metz, and the greater St. Louis Park community. I'm the proud principal of Aquila Elementary School. I'm going to present our annual report to the school board. I am also going to present, along with my outstanding colleague, Olivia Tolzien, Aquila's International Baccalaureate and Professional Development Coordinator. The three key takeaways that I want you all to take away after this presentation are how we are doing at Aquila, what we are doing at Aquila, and who we are at Aquila. So at the end, you should be able to have those three key takeaways. Sorry. So our school improvement plan is grounded in equity and aligned with the following items. The world's best workforce plan, which every St. Louis Park resident should have received in the fall. Our new teacher and principal evaluation plans, and career and college readiness. Coming up on Wednesday, March 4th, thanks to our wonderful counselor, Rachel Nelson, she will be putting on our annual career fair at Aquila. It is always a huge hit for the students and the staff, but especially for the students. I'll let Olivia take over for the following three.
I believe that school improvement begins with teachers, and each of our teachers has written a professional goal and plan that is aligned with reading and math, and it addresses the achievement gap. We also have our school improvement plan is also aligned with our local literacy plan. And the local literacy plan states that we will use balanced literacy to in our reading and writing instruction in our classrooms, and that our teachers will use assessment to inform what they are doing in the classroom. And finally, the International Baccalaureate Primary Years Program, that grounds us in equity because it tells us that our instruction needs to begin with our students' current understandings, what they already know, and then also build on their students' inquiries and curiosity.
Now I will share with you our current demographics in regards to student groups here at Aquila Elementary School. As you can see, our demographics have stayed pretty much consistent. The biggest thing or the biggest takeaway I want you to know about, we have almost grown 25% increase in our enrollment from the 2013 school year to our current year. This year we were as high as 597 students. We are the largest student body population at our 4 elementary schools. Some other demographics that I would like to share with you. As you can see on the graph, our free and reduced lunch eligibility students, we are at 52%. Our English language learners, students that are learning English for the very first time, are at 24%. Our special ed students are at 12%. Our gifted and talented students are at 6%. And our open enrollment students, or the number of open enrollment students, have been consistent at 8%. Now I'd like to start out with some reading proficiency at Aquila. This information, again, came directly from the World's Best Workforce Plan. I want to also share a thank you to Prachi Mukherjee for helping us with these slides. As you can see from this graph, the line down the middle indicates, and to share with you again, that the test in 2013 was aligned with our new language and art standards. So the 2011, 2012 years should not be compared to the 2013 and 2014. And that is because it was a brand new test and a totally different test. But as you can see from our percentages, we are staying consistent or slightly improving. We have decreased with our black students, and later on in the presentation, I will be sharing specifically what we are doing at Aquila to help those students as well as all students. Excuse me. Our math proficiency at Aquila, again, the MCA 3 in math was first given in 2011. So 2011, we gave the first MCA 3 test. As you can see, our numbers are slightly going up for most categories, student group categories, and I'm very proud. We have a lot more room for improvement, and we know that, but the dedication and hard work from our Aquila teachers and staff, we are going to get there.
Each fall, winter, and spring, our students take the MAP test, or measures of academic progress. And we take this test because it aligns closely with our MCA test that we take in the spring. And the MAP test is a good predictor on whether or not our students will be passing our MCAs in the spring. And what you can see based on this graph is that in reading, our students from fall to winter in all of our student categories are increasing the amount of students that are predicted to be proficient on our MCA reading test. This next slide is very similar to the last slide, in which it's again showing our measures of academic progress test, and it's telling us the amount of students that are predicted to be proficient on our MCA test in the springtime. And each of our student categories from fall to winter are increasing. Our Hispanic population are staying the same. And that's how many students percentage of students that we are predicted to be proficient on our MCA math test in the spring. We also use the MAP test to help us measure student growth. And this slide tells us the amount of students and the percentage of students that we are showing typical growth from fall to winter and then winter to spring. Each fall, each student gets a score in reading or math, and math, I should say. And with that score, MAP tells us the predicted amount of points that students should grow by springtime. And what this graph is showing is the percentage of students in reading and math that are showing that they are growing the amount that they need to be in reading and math. The last assessment slide that I want to share with you is about the FAST test, or the Formative Assessment System for Teachers. And this is a reading test. And this test in kindergarten and first grade is an early literacy test. It tests skills like decoding, letter sounds, concepts of print. And this is showing, this exam, or this chart, is showing us the amount of students that are reading proficiency. Sorry, I'm losing my voice.
It happens to me all the time.
In 2nd through 5th grade, the students that take the exam, what they're doing is they are given a grade level passage. And they're given 3 grade level passages, and each time they're timed for 1 minute. And then it gives us the median score of each of those passages, so the amount of words that are read correctly in 1 minute. And what this graph is showing to us is the amount of students from fall to winter, the percentage of students that are increasing based on those benchmarks. So in kindergarten through 5th grade, in each of our student categories, we are growing the amount of percentage of students that are meeting proficiency on this benchmark assessment.
Now we're going into our next key takeaway, and that is what we are doing at Aquila. We have multiple pathways to meet these goals. Our equity framework, what individuals need or our win time, international baccalaureate framework, and family involvement. Under the equity framework, we have our fantastic, outstanding equity coaches, Erica Merrick, Joy Esbolt, and Sarah Reichert. Our professional learning communities. At Aquila, our staff meets every single Thursday morning, and we are in some great discussions in regards to student data. We were going to bring some pictures, but due to confidentiality, we did not want to do that. But we are talking specifically about students and sharing the growth and watching the growth from one part of the year to the next part. So we are talking real students, and it's really moving our momentum at Aquila. Our curriculum alignment, we continue to work with Carrie Ross, our Director of Teaching and Learning, along with professionals, teachers in all the schools in areas of math and reading. And I want to do another shout out for our wonderful program, our free breakfasts every day for all students. This is a wonderful program at Aquila that meets many, many student needs. I like it because there is absolutely no stigma in regards to it is free for all students. It is a grab-and-go breakfast, and it is outstanding. The students use it. They keep those fresh fruit items for snack later in the day, and it's a win-win program. We at Aquila started an intervention block called Win Time, or What Individuals Need. In that time, we have reading intervention, Title I math support, and English language learning support from those teachers that are pulled out. These students are not missing any core instruction. And I'm going to go a little bit deeper into it in the next coming slides. Equity framework. Again, like I said, we continue to work with our equity coaches. We are also working with our building instructional leaders as we are working on professional plans to close the achievement gap. Partnership with our West Metro Education Program for Professional Learning, our Courageous Conversation classes that our teachers continually take and want to take more of. It helps them continue their journey. I wanted to share an experience that I shared with the Aquila staff this year. I, during a staff meeting, shared my racial autobiography journey, and it was a very moving experience for myself, but I believe for the staff, as I put myself out there and encourage staff to put themselves out there to continue the journey of how we can work together to help students of all races be successful at Aquila. Our professional learning community discussions, like I indicated, and at Aquila this year, thanks to some advice from one of my mentors, Mr. Metz, we have focal students. Every teacher and specialist has 4 focal students. And focal students are students that the teachers came up with from their class. They could have a little post-it on their laptop. They could have it by their phone. They could have it in their lesson planning book, where they're focusing on those students, not forgetting the rest of the students, but focusing on those 4. 3 out of those 4 students must be students of color, and that was my requirement. And the teachers are doing excellent. We just filmed some discussions, most recently by Olivia, and the discussions and the results are wonderful and outstanding. So another shout out to the Aquila staff and teachers. The next area are win time, or what individuals need. Kindergarten through 5th grade at Aquila have a time period that I have built in to their schedules. In kindergarten, there's a half-hour time period. 1st through 4th grade, there's an hour time period, and 5th grade, there's 45 minutes. During this dedicated time period for teachers, this is a dedicated time period for teachers to work with students on specific skills in the areas of reading and math. It doesn't mean we're not working on specific skills. It's specific skills that these students need more help with, need more time with. So there's extra built-in time. Outside of the core instruction, so these students are not missing any literacy or language arts, IB, science, or math. This is built-in time other than those core instruction times. Again, this is a pull-out time for our intervention programs, reading intervention, Title I math, English language learning. We are also accelerating achievement for students that need to be accelerated, pushed ahead. So it's not just strictly intervention time, it's also a time period to accelerate students to the next level. We are also using, I believe, 4 different online math programs. We're using Front Row, Alex Math, iExcel, and Khan Academy. And I wanted teachers to pick the online program that best meets their teaching needs as well as their specific grade level student needs. And some of those programs are aimed more towards younger kids, and some are aimed more towards older kids. It's a great situation where they're also working on those online math programs.
The International Baccalaureate Primary Years Program at Aquila just continues to get stronger each year. Our teachers are collaborating and reflecting on these units of inquiry, and they just become to be much stronger in their learning activities and the assessments that our students are provided. We still do IB assemblies once a month where our students get to be the leaders. They get to share their learning and share their action projects and get in front of the whole school and share what they're most excited about. And the most recent one that we just got done with last month was our 4th grade. In our 4th grade, they were learning about water quality throughout the world and how it impacts the economics in our world. And they were comparing the two. And when they found out, they did a lot of research and they found out a lot about Haiti. And they were looking at its geography and how it has little access to clean water and how it affects their economy and their daily life. And then, so they did an action project. Fourth grade went to Feed My Starving Children, and they packaged food for Haitians and Haitian children, and learned all more about that country, and then came back, and during the assembly, they put together an assembly for the whole school, and each student had a part in it, and they shared all about the country of Haiti, its economics, its geography, and its little access to clean water, and what we can do to help. And it's just, I feel like our IB program's doing well. The family involvement at Aquila is outstanding. Our PTO is amazing. We have sponsored events almost monthly. We have a bingo night and a pancake breakfast that people come to. I see little chuckles because we see Ken on the picture here. Standing room only in the cafeteria when you're during bingo night, and people come to eat with their families, a lovely pancake breakfast, and it's just a lot of fun building community at Aquila. Last week, we had the Imagination Fair at Aquila, and it's completely also run by parents, especially one parent named Joanne Bongartz. We had over 120 students present at the Imagination Fair. And what they present are just science projects, art projects, anything that their creative minds want to explore and share with the community. And 120 of our students participated, and it wouldn't be without parent support and family support, because it's completely done at home. So our families support us. We have parent volunteers and family volunteers that come to Aquila every day, whether it's to read with our kids, to do math with our kids, to do we have a father who plays an instrument, plays guitar, ukulele, and sings with the kids. Every day you'll see many parent volunteers at Aquila. We also communicate with our families twice a month. Clarence and myself and other staff members put out an Aquila communicator that we share important events that are happening at Aquila, and we have a lot of parents that read it. And let's see, the last one that I wanted to showcase was the Science Museum of Minnesota. Last school year in May, I worked with the Science Museum of Minnesota, and we got a family night to go there for free. Clarence and I arranged for busing for our families, and they subsidized our busing. And we had pizza before going, and the whole night was all Aquila families. And we had over 500 people get to go to the Science Museum of Minnesota. I never thought I would see, I think we had like 12 or 13 buses full of families. And it was just a wonderful experience to see our families and our students talking about science and doing science together. So family involvement at Aquila is great.
Now, our next steps at Aquila Elementary School. We are going to continue the wonderful work with our equity coaches, Erica Merrick and Joy Esbolt. Those two are the two that are assigned to Aquila. We have over 15 students, 15 teachers working with these two equity coaches. So we have quite a few teachers, and it has been a great, great working, coaching relationship. We are continuing our discussions regarding courageous conversations about race and how we can change our way of teaching to meet the students' needs. Our professional learning, we have some outstanding professional learning that has taken place and will continue to take place this year. We have Bonnie Hauk coming this week, Wednesday and Thursday, working with all of our teachers on the subject of learning targets. Our teachers have learned what learning targets are and the benefits of learning targets. We're now ready to take it to that next level. And I've worked with Bonnie Hauk briefly in the past by taking one of her courses, and she's going to be excellent. We also, next month of March, we are also having Patty Green come to Aquila for 2 days. She has worked with our district and all of our elementary buildings and elementary teachers. She's a great leader in regards to small group reading instruction and many other topics. But she's going to be focusing in on small group reading instruction. Olivia Tolzien has continued to go into classrooms and coach, work with teachers. She's actually taught a lesson and the teachers sat back and reflected and observed her, and they are continuing to do that, and it has been great, a win-win situation for the teachers and their learning. And I have taken a literacy walkthrough class by Bonnie Hauk and Sandy Novak, along with my colleague Corey Maslowski from PSI. This has been an excellent way for me to go into those classrooms and focus in on what teachers should be doing for literacy and many different areas along with those learning targets. And last but not least, it's slipping off the screen slightly, Schoology. Partnering with Nate Tangen and Cheryl Abbey, our media specialists at Aquila, to increase our parent and staff understanding of Schoology and the benefits and the power behind it. Now I've talked about the two first takeaways, how we are doing and what we are doing. Now I'd like to share with you who we are at Aquila Elementary School.
Well, since we had the Academy Awards last night, that kind of fits.
I just wanted to say thank you for your continued support, and thank you SLP community out there for supporting all of our schools, but especially Aquila Elementary School. Now you know why I continue to say I'm the proud principal. I love my job for many, many reasons. Now we're open for questions and comments.
All right, thank you. Who has a question? Ken.
Okay, I'll stick.
Nancy? Okay.
You'll come back around to me too, I hope, because I have a few. Okay, it's great to see things that you guys were working on last summer as we talked, and actually seeing them in fruition. And now it's going to be exciting to see the scores at the end of the year. But I was, it's just a question about the number of students in the projected, slide 15. So we're projecting to have, was that 15? I'm sorry, 14. We're projected to see roughly 42% of the black. Well, just looking at the whole graph, it looks like less than 50% of our kids are going to be proficient at that time. Am I reading this incorrectly?
Which slide?
Yep. It looks like 247 kids will be proficient at this time, we project.
62% of all of our students are projected to be proficient. That's taking the MAP test, the NWA MAP test in reading and math, and scoring a certain level, and the predictability on the MCAs that we haven't taken yet. That's right now. We also take the spring MAP test at the same time as our spring MCAs. I'm not, okay.
62%.
Yes.
It sounds like 62%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Clarence, really nice presentation, and I liked actually having it right here in front of me with the color graphs, which we didn't always get before. So that's been a real help with the iPads. I liked the how you organized it. I like the breakdown in demographics, and including our gifted and talented and all of our students. But the one question that I had, and you may not have the answer, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but you can come back to it, is how the gender numbers break out in terms of boys and girls that you have, and if you see any patterns in gender issues, because at least when I was going to school, there certainly were those, and my son is at Michigan Tech in civil engineering, and they've got a gender disparity, and we kind of want all opportunity for all students and not have that disparity either while we're working on all of other goals.
I think I can partially answer that question. Thanks to many programs in our district, but specifically our Park Sci program, our partnership with our science teachers at the high school, it has been wonderful. If all of you have been at Aquila, in that main foyer or that main entrance, the science teachers that come over from the high school are setting up projects. And in regards to boys and girls, they are asking those questions. They are getting into that science, that concept, and they're very passionate. And the teachers at the high school, I don't want to miss all their names, so I'm not going to say them, but they do an excellent job. We have female science teachers, we have male science teachers, and they are very good about connecting and pulling out answers from the girls and also involvement, and same with the boys.
Thank you.
So that's one example that I could answer. There's many more.
Are there questions from other board members before we go back to Ken? No? Ken?
How many teachers are there at Aquila?
Classroom teachers?
Classroom teachers?
Yeah, you said 15% or 15 of them were attending the equity. I just wondered what percentage was that.
We have 22 classroom teachers.
Okay, so that's a pretty high percentage
Yeah.
that are attending the equity training. That's
So
great.
15. We also, now that's not including all teachers. We have special education teachers. We have reading intervention teachers. So gifted and talented, our specialists. So we are probably at about 35, 38 teachers.
And I think what he
Don't
said.
quote me exactly on that number, but close to that.
And I think what you said is that 15 were working with the equity coaches as opposed to the bills, the other
building instructional leaders,
coaches.
yes.
So you also mentioned courageous conversations, and I assume everybody's participating in those kinds of discussions.
Yes, yes.
Okay, Bruce?
Olivia, this question is for you. I'm interested in IB specifically. We instituted the program. You've been a certified school now for 3-4 years or more?
Like 5?
5. Okay, good. And you mentioned that IB is helping with the gap, and that's part of it. Can you talk specifically of what IB does? I mean, we used to have good schools anyway, but IB's come in now. We've had it for many years. I mean, it took us 3 years to get certified, so it's been in at least for 8 years. Why has it made such a difference?
I think that the framework and the practices of IB are just best practice to begin with. When you allow students to use their mother tongue or home language as much as possible to bridge the gap of English to their home language, that's one way of closing the gap for English language learners. Another way is just, let's say, you're building, I said at the beginning, building from students' current understandings, not assuming that students all walk in on the same playing field before you begin any new concept or new idea. I mean, it's best practice, but it's also an IB way of thinking is, what do you already know about this before I even begin to get a learning experience for you or get some resources for you? I need to know what you know. I think in the past, a lot of times you get a curriculum and you start point A, you teach this lesson, you teach this lesson, you teach this lesson, and you didn't always think about how our students came in. And now with IB, one way you do it is you make sure you know where your students are coming in at before you provide anything. And you also build on their students' interest and inquiry and curiosity. And that's a natural motivator for our students. For any student, is if this is what you want to be learning about, then you'll be more passionate to do it. And I think that those are all different ways that we close the gap with IB.
Thank you.
Nancy?
Clarence, it wasn't lost on me when you said that the population has grown dramatically in the last 3 years, and I'm guessing that's in part because of our large kindergarten sizes that we've been pleased to have?
Yes, I would say that's part of it, but we've also had a number of families move into the Aquila neighborhood or neighborhoods. And at one time we were, I'm looking at Linda Stanley, at one time we were as high as 597 students. We're not that right now, but we were, the office secretary enrolled about 71 students in the fall, start of the winter months.
I think that's just huge praise for Aquila and families like in Aquila, but I also think as we're doing our strategic plan and you're talking with the district, we need to make sure that you have the space and the resources, and we don't get, if it's going to get too large, we need to probably address that at another level.
I should have shared with all of you, I think you all know, we are in our new addition. 5th grade students are in their brand new classrooms, and 2 special ed programs are in their smaller brand new classrooms. It is, please, I invite you to come over and check it out. It's a wonderful addition, so needed, but also wonderful. And I just want to thank the St. Louis Park community for passing the referendum so we can have this addition. It's been great, so thank you very much.
This will be the last one. It's going to be a long one, though. So the part on the monthly events that you have for the parents to come out and enjoy the school, that's a wonderful, wonderful thing that goes on at Aquila. I imagine all the other schools too. But I've been in parts of those for years, and every year it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's great to have all those parents come in, and then you know that those parents are starting to connect with those kids and with the school all at once, and then your teachers get the opportunity to meet and rub shoulders with those guys. And the pancake breakfast, a fantastic event. It's always fun. 75 more people showed up this time as opposed to the other previous year, and all was great and fun. Bingo's always fun, and the Imagination Fair was fantastically run. It was great to be educated by so many kids on baking, on rocks, on everything. So it was great to see those all those guys just working it. So thank you. It was great, and the addition looks great.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you, school board, and thank you, Superintendent Metz.
Before you run, I just want to follow up on that. I was particularly caught by my attention by the 500 people going over to the Science Museum, and I think that's fantastic, and it is wonderful that there's that much parent engagement. I've just been trying to read more in that area recently, and the most recent, I read a book that's compiled called The Broken Compass, compiles a lot of the research on family engagement and breaks it down into 2 kinds of engagement: the coming into the school kind of engagement, which you guys are doing great at, and then the the family engagement at home, the commitment to the child's education that may not be as evident on the outside, but is, what they're, just making sure that the homework gets done, even if you don't know how to help, or telling your child how much education matters. And it really emphasized that kind of family engagement. And so I think we always have to remember, when you're getting loads of parents in or family members, extended family, whoever's showing up, that's wonderful. But we have to remind ourselves always that those other parents who may not be there because they're working or whatever are still as or more critical, according to these researchers. That's the even more critical kind of family engagement too. So we just need to always recognize that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate your presentation tonight. See, Olivia, that's why we have water bottles around. I needed to.
Thank you so much.
Our next item on the agenda is the superintendent's budget assumptions. So, Superintendent.
Thank you, board members. You will remember that 2 weeks ago, the Financial Advisory Committee was here, and they made recommendations to me. And now I am passing them on and making recommendations to you regarding the budget assumptions and some further recommendations. Most of what you're seeing in your board packet tonight came directly from the Financial Advisory Committee. I made a few tweaks, and I'm just going to read through it and describe the tweaks that I made. First of all, there are some assumptions that the Financial Advisory Committee recommended to me that we use as we build budgets for next year. The first assumption is to increase the weighted average daily membership to 5,100 students for the 2016 school year. The second assumption is to assume stable special education revenue for fiscal year 2016. And the third assumption is to expect the general education basic formula to be increased by 1.5% for the fiscal year 2016. The Financial Advisory Committee recommended that for over a 2-year time period, and I've changed it to a 1-year time period to be a little more conservative, and that's one of the tweaks that I made. I'm also recommending, and this also came from the Financial Advisory Committee, that the severance reserve fund be increased to 66% of its estimated liability by a transfer from the unreserved fund balance. This would require a transfer of approximately $1 million from the unreserved fund balance to the severance fund balance. I'm recommending that the district negotiate salaries and benefits that align with the district's financial condition. And I'm finally recommending that the Strategic Planning Committee analyze future student enrollment and its impact on the facility needs of the district. So these are my budget assumptions and recommendations that you're being asked to act on tonight. Most of them came through the Financial Advisory Committee, and I've spoken and met with our Sandy Celine, and she is there ready to help me answer any questions that you may have.
And board members, do you have questions? Nancy.
Rob, I was not here at the last meeting, so you may have to just remind me or refresh me or tell me. The 5,100, that is an increase in the WATMs. Is that more than we currently have, and what is the projected increase that we're assuming in that number?
It is an increase, and Sandy, do you recall that number?
I mean, we kind of went back and forth as far as where we were going to land on this one. I mean, it's an increase. We had to change in the WATM calculation, the weights, so it's really not a comparison as far as apples to apples. But as far as the average daily membership, it's a slight increase from what we haven't had in the past.
Are we in 25, or are we 50, or are we 100? Do you have a ballpark that you can recall?
About 50 to 100 in between there.
And is that the trend line we've been seeing? Is that the rationale? I'm looking for the rationale for that.
Yes, that's the trend line. We have a graph that we've been showing that shows our increases, and we've been keeping more students throughout this year than we have in the past, which has created us to feel that this is going to continue.
Nancy, I could add to that our enrollment, not our weighted daily average membership, but our enrollment has increased, I believe, 7 years in a row now, by approximately 50 to 80 students. It looks like that's going to happen again next year. One of the things the Financial Advisory Committee cautioned us on, and that's why the last line is here, to have the Strategic Planning Committee look at enrollment and facilities, is because our current facilities are now full for the most part. And so one thing that could hold us back from adding more students is that we just don't have room. Now, some of the students that are St. Louis Park residents, we need to take, space or no space, and make the space. The number of open enrollment students we take, we can vary slightly. But facilities are becoming a need and an issue.
Any other questions? I've got one, but we'll let Nancy go.
Yeah, Rob, I certainly agree with your recommendation that we negotiate within our financial condition, but I would, and we don't have to add it to your recommendation, I just assume there are other variables, including what the competitive market is and what our students need and other factors that we consider in our negotiating.
For sure. Thank you for adding that.
And my only thought is on the 1.5% addition to the basic formula. I think predicting what happens at the legislature is a guessing game and maybe an educated guess, but it's not much more than that. I feel confident in 1%. I would hope for far more than that. But I'm not, I wouldn't, as you prepare the budget, I wouldn't spend every penny, and I don't think there's a guarantee or a certainty that we're going to get 1.5. Again, I'd be pretty confident in 1, and Bruce, you're pretty much on top of this too, but beyond that is a guessing game.
Julie, I would support you in what you just said. The governor's come back with 1. Most of the districts, though, have said 1.5 is where the assumption is, and I'm assuming we have champions and heroes within the legislature who will help us out. Plus, there are other additions on top of that 1%. So, and I'm hoping special ed will come through a little bit better this year also. I'm not going to hold my breath, but as you say, it's a good guessing game. So, but 1% as a governor, plus those things on top of it will add a few more points to us.
Yeah, there is a lot of positive discussion, so maybe it will happen. Any other questions on the budget assumptions? Okay, we will move forward, and the next item is also financial. It's our quarterly budget report from Sandy Celine. And as the name suggests, this is something we get about every 3 months.
And yes, you get it about every 3 months. This is the one through the end of December. And I just want to note before we start that this does not include the budget amendments that we had passed February. Since that was not passed until February, that won't be reflected here. And that's about $402,000. So there is going to be a difference right off the bat because of that. The spending, and what this, for those that don't know what this report is, it basically is comparing what our spending patterns are for the current year at this point in time to the prior year at this point in time. Spending patterns do have a tendency to change, but for school districts, for the most part, the spending patterns remain pretty much the same throughout the year. This is a tool. It's not an absolute, but it's a tool that helps us to determine how our budgets are doing throughout the year. And looking at this, I mean, it's close to, if we added the $402,000 in there, it's very close to what our spending pattern was in the prior year. There are a few items that are different. I mean, line item by line item, what normally happens, I know we had some retro pay and adjustments and some pay this year for outstanding or contracts that were settled. There is severance payments that happened in certain line items where the budgets are normally put in the general education line items, so you're going to see differences between the line items due to those type of factors. But there's also, there was some additional bills that were paid, for instance, for insurance payments for a liability insurance payment under fiscal and other that were paid sooner than they were paid in the prior year. So those type of things happen that we analyze as we go through this process. And there was also on the bottom line, we kind of keep it separately, the health insurance payments, and basically that's offset by the liabilities and eventually gets mostly offset by those liability payments by the end of the year. But we did have an extra payment that was made sooner this year than the prior year, so you're going to see a little difference there. So that's what we use this for, is to analyze the differences and identify those. But from what I see at this point in time is we're very comparable to the prior year. So we were very close last year, and I don't anticipate that that's going to be the same this year.
Questions for Sandy? I'm counting on you two for all the questions tonight, no? Okay. All right, no questions. Thank you very much for the presentation. The next item on the agenda is our consent agenda. And I'll just note, usually we, in the personnel portion of this, we're starting to get a couple of retirements listed here of teachers, and since they're just starting to turn in papers, and I don't know if they've told people if they're retiring or not, I won't go into details here, because we know we will recognize our retiring teachers in spring, so there will be opportunity to talk about that. So otherwise, there's no discussion on the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent? So moved. Second? Second by Jim. Okay, motion by Nancy, second by Jim. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Consent agenda is approved 6-0. And I'm not going to be able to get back to the beginning fast. Yes, I am. I got to figure out the button. Okay, I'm on the page I want, though. No, it won't. There it is. All right, action agenda. The approval of the 2015-16 budget assumptions. It's recommended that the school board approve the 2015-16 budget assumptions as presented by the superintendent of schools. Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Moved by Bruce.
Second.
Second by Ken. Any further discussion? Then all in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Communications and transmittals. We already started our meeting with one of them, the show Ragtime that is coming up Thursday. Bruce, do you want, or Karen, either one of you going to talk about more about that? Or anything else that you'd like to talk about? All right, Karen, you're up.
Talk about assets. Asset number 9, service to others. There's a great article in the STEP newsletter. Our Transitions Plus kids, it's a mix of St. Louis Park, Hopkins, and Minnetonka. They are kids in 18 to 21 who are still served by our school district. They are in supported jobs at the STEP food shelf, so this provides job training skills, and they develop meaningful relationships and also able to identify their interests in a supportive community environment. So they work with a job coach and a work coordinator to encourage best practices. And I love the fact that they're working directly with the STEP volunteers who are great people in our community. So this is just such a win-win-win all the way around, and I thank everybody involved for making this happen. So asset number 9, service to others. Thank you.
Anyone else? Bruce.
I do want to finish up, just in case someone joined us late. We had the kids perform parts of Ragtime, which will be the choral musical. This is not exactly the play. There is some play parts to it, but it's choral music done by our kids, and we heard tonight how wonderful they are. They always do a great job. John Muskowski runs this thing, does a fabulous job preparing, and then when they present, they just do. Every year, I'm just amazed at what talent we have in our schools, and you saw mostly seniors, in the lead roles, and they are just great. And they'll go on to do things in college and other places, and it's part of what makes our school system so wonderful. Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night at 7 o'clock, and then on Sunday there's a matinee at 2 o'clock. And it's Ragtime's a great show, great music, very difficult piano pieces, I might add. So Tim does a great job. So please come and support our kids.
Anyone else? Nancy?
I've just got a couple. March 5th is a Thursday, and you can start in the morning with kids, and you can end in the evening with sort of a kid book focus. If you start in the morning on March 5th, it is the Children's First Champions Breakfast. It is a continental breakfast that is free, but you will be asked to contribute before the evening is done or the morning is done. And if you have an interest in that, it's at the DoubleTree. Karen Atkinson, I'm sure, could provide more information to you. But it starts at 7, and it's March 5th. In the evening on March 5th, it's Bookmark in the Park is having a free author event at Granite City, which is roughly on Excelsior and 100. It is being hosted by Mayor Jeff Jacobs. It will have 4 local authors there who will read a little bit from their books. It's March 5th in the evening, starting at 7:30. And the authors are Carl Brookins, Monica Ferris, Steve George, and Lorna Landvik. The flyer announcing it discusses their books. I'm not going to tell you all of them, except what struck me was that Monica Ferris is an amateur needle worker who also writes. And she has written a book called, several books, one Framed in Lace, one A Stitch in Time, another Unraveled Sleeve, picking up on her hobby as in needlework. But the word cruel is, and I had to look this up, is it a homonym, anonym, or synonym? It's a homonym. I looked it up while we were meeting here. And cruel, as an embroidery stitch, is C-R-E-W-E-L, but cruel, as in mean, is C-R-U-E-L. And she has a book called Cruel World with embroidery spelling, which I just think is very creative, and it kind of makes me interested in checking out her writing. So that's March 5th at 7:30 in the evening. And the last thing I want to say, and I suspect this has made the news, but if you haven't heard, our mayor, Jeff Jacobs, has decided not to run for office again. And I just want to note what a wonderful friend of the school district and our students Jeff has been over the years. He has been one of our best ambassadors, a true delight to work with, and we are both grateful and going to miss him when he stops doing that particular job. I'm sure he won't be lost to us.
Anything else? My last item is just to note, again, I was at the School Nutrition Advisory Committee, and we do have a salad bar at the high school now that's been going for about a month and a half. There's a steady audience, but not as many as they might hope or that would actually make it financially feasible. So this is to encourage everybody who eats at the high school to try the salad bar. Have you been hearing something? You seem to react. Did your daughter say anything?
Lunches packing.
Packed too many lunches. So, and I guess that was the main thing. This advisory committee could use members, but at the high school, that was the new thing this January was to do the salad bar. So with that, I will take a motion to adjourn. I heard first from Ken, Bruce, a second from Bruce. All in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? All right, we're adjourned at about 8:36 this evening.